Hey guys, how's it going? Well, first of all, I want to wish everyone a happy new year. Today is January 1st, 2021. And I hope for everybody's sake that this year ends up being a whole lot better than last year. I really hope that for everybody. I hope you guys had a good time celebrating last night if you did celebrate. And I thought, what better way to ring in the new year than by finally doing my top albums of 2020 list? Now, normally I would do a top 10 list, but unfortunately, I was unable to find 10 albums this year that really struck a chord with me, so to speak. But I was able to find seven. So this is going to be a top seven. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Yeah. Sorry, I can't count sometimes. This is going to be a top seven albums of 2020 video. Now, one of the albums two of the albums I don't think I have the physical copies of, but for the other five I do. So, yeah, I'm not going to waste any more time. At number seven, as much as it pains me to put this one so low, it would have to be Bush, The Kingdom. Uh, this, when it first came out, was one of my favorite albums of the year, and it still is, hence why it's on my list. But the reason why it's so low is just because I found other albums that I really gravitated towards more than this one. But, you know, I thank Bush for keeping grunge alive in 2020. That's exactly what they did. I feel like you don't really hear, I think grunge kind of died out a little bit, if I'm being honest. I know obviously Bush is still going, Alice in Chains is still going, with their new lead singer, and I know it's been that way for over 10 years now with them, but I don't know. I just feel like you don't really hear a lot of grunge influenced bands anymore. And that's why I was so high on this album, and I'm still pretty high on it. It still has great songs like Flowers on a Grave, The Kingdom, Bullet Holes, and my personal favorite song, Blood River. Those are all really, really good songs. And also, Words Are Not Impediments. I really like that one as well. But yeah, like I said, I hate to put it so low on the list, but yeah, at number seven, Bush, The Kingdom. Still a really good album though. If you're any, if you're a grunge fan at all, definitely check that out. Okay. At number six, this is actually an album that debuted this year, all the way back in January, I believe. So this is basically a year old, and it's a Christian rock slash metalcore band, and I think I did a review of this album a couple of months back. It's a band called Lightworker, and the album is called Fury by Failure. Like I said, this is their debut album, and for a debut album, I think this is really good. Um, it's got featured vocalist Ryan Kirby from Fit for a King on it. It's got a lot of guest vocalists on it, but Ryan Kirby is the only one that I truly know of because I am a Fit for a King fan. But yeah, definitely check out songs like The Willing Martyr, See the World Like You, Words Dissolve, and Beyond the Pale. Those are definitely some of my favorites. Um, it's just a good album. It's got it pretty much anything that you could want. It's got rock aspects, it's got metalcore, it's got some metal in there. It's a mixture of everything, I would say. Definitely really good. But yeah, number six, I'm sorry for the glare. Number six, Light Worker, Fury by Failure. Okay, number five is actually an album that I don't have right now. So I'm just going to tell you about it. Number five is Trivium's latest album, What the Dead Men Say. Now, this was an album that I was excited for when I first heard that it was coming out. And the reason why I know a lot of people would probably move it a lot higher on the list, but it kind of fell off a little bit for me upon a couple of listens. That's why it's kind of almost in the middle of the list. But it's still got great songs like "What the Dead Men Say" and "Catastrophist," um, "Sickness Unto Me." It's still got a lot of great songs, and definitely something that you would expect from Trivium, because Trivium is a band that I've just recently, over the last couple of years, have gotten into. So I don't know their full discography yet, but "What the Dead Men Say" is definitely up there in my opinion. Uh, I don't think it's as good as their last album, "The Sin and the Sentence." That one still holds up very well for me, but definitely a good album nonetheless. So yeah, number 5, Trivium, "What the Dead Men Say." Okay, top 4. Here we go. Yeah, actually, number 4 is going to be another album that I don't currently have, so I'm just going to talk about it. Number 4 is a band called Citizen Soldier, and the album is called "Down the Rabbit Hole." Actually, this is another album I reviewed not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, in fact. And this is a very, very, very emotional album. If you're ever feeling, depressed, or you feel like no one cares, this is the album for you. And I said in the last video that I did, well, not the last video, the review that I did of this album, you got to listen to the song "I'm Not Okay." That is my favorite song on the whole album. It's probably the most depressing song on the album, but at least it's therapeutic for me. And I think it's therapeutic for a lot of people because it truly lets them know that, you know, it's okay to not feel okay sometimes. It's okay. Your feelings are not a burden and you're not a burden. And, it's just it makes me feel good, as sad as the song may be and as sad as the album may be, the album makes me feel good because it's something that we can all relate to in terms of lyrical content. But the vocalist, Jake Segura, I think is his name, does a fantastic job. Just the overall raw emotion that is put into this album. It's a great effort, and you can really tell that he is giving it his all on this album. Everything about this album is fantastic to me, so I had to put it in the top 4. So yeah, number 4, Citizen Soldier, "Down the Rabbit Hole." All right, guys, top 3 time. At number 3, I actually didn't expect this one to be so high on the list. It kind of surprised me a little bit. Uh, this is a band that I've been kind of hit or miss with because their last album didn't really do much for me, but this one did. And this is the new album by Seven Dust, "Blood and Stone." Yeah, their last album, "All I See Is War," I don't know. There was something about the way that was mixed and produced and just, I don't know. It didn't really do much for me. But this one, I think, is a whole lot better. And I know there are a lot of people out there who probably disagree with that. And that's fine. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But, with songs like "Dying to Live," "Love," "Blood from a Stone," and my personal favorite, "Criminal," I absolutely love that song. And I like that they also have a cover of a Soundgarden song as the very last song, "The Day I Tried to Live." That's another great cover that Seven Dust was able to pull off. But this album is really, really good to me. And like I said, I didn't expect this to be number 3 on my list. I really did not. But, like I said, songs like "Dying to Live," "Love," "Blood from a Stone," "Criminal," especially "Criminal." If I had to tell you to listen to one song from this album, it would definitely be "Criminal." Definitely. Um, the instruments are very good. LaJauwn Witherspoon, the lead singer, does a fantastic job on all of these songs. But there's just something about the way he harmonizes on the song "Criminal" that just really really pulls you in and kind of ties, not ties, but tears at your heartstrings a little bit. And "Criminal," that's the only song on this album that actually gets me kind of choked up, just because of how emotional it is. But yeah, number three, Seven Dust, Blood and Stone. Really good album. Okay, number two. Now this one might surprise you. Not being on the list, but it'll surprise you that this is only number two, considering how much I've raved about this album. Number two, Red, Declaration. For the longest time after this came out, this was actually my favorite album of the year. And I didn't actually think that there would be an album I would find that would surpass it. But lo and behold, that happens to be the case this time. But this is still a fantastic album, and I still give this album a 10 out of 10 rating like I did when I first reviewed it after it came out. There is not a song on here that I don't like. But I will say, out of all the 10 tracks, my favorite song has to be the song Cauterize. Um, and the reason why that's my favorite song is because of the bridge, actually. Um, there's a certain line in there that always comes to my mind when I think of this song in particular. And I think it says, "A thousand scars betray me. Oh, what's another one? At least they make me feel like I'm not the only one." Something about that line just always stuck out to me. And you guys know I'm a lyric person anyway, so yeah. But you can't go wrong with any song on here. Cauterize, The War We Made, The Evening Hate, Sever, Float. I mean, just take your pick. Any song off of this album is great. But yeah, I didn't actually think it would make number two. I thought this would be my favorite album of the year, but like I said, something actually surpassed it. And it might surprise you guys, and I'll get to that right now. So, number two, Red, Declaration. Fantastic album. Okay, guys. Number one, it's finally time. Um, like I said, this may or may not surprise you at all. It might surprise some of you. This is a band who's also making their debut this year, just like that band Lightworker. This album came out back in October, so about 3 months ago. And it is the band Saul with their debut album Rise as Equals. Now, if you're just looking for a straight up rock, hard rock, maybe even some alternative rock thrown in there, this is the album for you. And I feel like albums like this are severely needed in today's rock climate. Um, it definitely feels fresh, but also familiar, if that makes sense. Um, Definitely check out the songs "Brother," which is a very emotional song, and my personal favorite song, "King of Misery." I have been repeating "King of Misery" ever since the album came out. I absolutely love it. Um, and also songs like "Here and Now," "Sticks and Stones," "Get It Right." There's a lot of good stuff on this album. Um, I'm trying to find enough words to say. Um, yeah, "Brother" and "King of Misery" are the two main singles from the album, but the deep cuts, in my opinion, are excuse me, are just as good. So, yeah, at number one, like I said, may or may not be surprising to you, Saul, Rise as Equals. All right, guys, it's currently it's 9 o'clock in the morning here. It's 9:06. Yeah, I figured I'd go ahead and get this done early because there is a lot of well, there's not a lot. There's a lot of football games coming on today that I want to watch. Uh, so yeah, I thought I'd go ahead and get this done early, and I also thought it would be a great way to ring in the new year. So, yeah, that's going to do it, guys. Those are my top 7 albums of 2020. I want to hear what you guys have to say about them. Did any of my picks surprise you? What did you like about it? What didn't you like? I'm open to criticism. Uh, but yeah, as anyways, guys, leave a comment down below. Subscribe to my channel. Tell your people about me, and I will see you guys next time. Take care and Happy New Year.